have been doing this presentation for a few people because it's very, very interesting. So there's only, I think, maybe one other group who has seen this. And so we wanted to bring this to you today because I think you're going to find it very impactful in terms of what you're going to experience from a tasting perspective in a little while. Closed during U.S. Prohibition, reopened in 1934, and then it was picked up by a gentleman, Lou Foreman. And Lou Foreman was responsible for renaming the brand after his two sons, Michael and Peter, and it was the joining of their two names that made the name Michter's. Sadly, the distillery closed in 1989 and the brand was seemingly lost to history. The family that owns Michter's today, they acquired the abandoned trademark for $245 and a trademark application. And so
coming to Kentucky, there were excellent matured stocks to be able to purchase. Their first releases were actually a 10-year-old Kentucky straight rye and a 10-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon.
We will always be the 2023 most admired whiskey in the world, and we're grateful for that. There's never been a repeat, so we hope, but there's not been a repeat, so we'll see what happens from here. But
I think you guys might be the lowest barrel.
We're the lowest of any distillery of scale.
Yeah.
And we're going into all of our barrels at 103, not just like a special release over here.
Where the gold standard for entry proof, even back in 1888, was between 101 and 105. So 101 is maybe the lowest that I know ever, only because of that entry record.
We owe this a lot to everyone that supports Michter's. It's, a big thank you because, we've done events where people knew that I was going to be in Atlanta like a few weeks after this event and actually came out, yes, and came down or saw me out in Maryland, things like that. It was super cool that we have that reach we're building. We're still a small, medium-sized distillery, but it's great that we're, it's the friendships and hearing the relationships that we're getting now that we're getting, as a larger group. And then it's going to ferment for about 3 to 5 days. This will be a great one to look at. Kind of knows if you want to, just be a little careful as you lean over it. You can see that the yeast is very active, it's very healthy right now.
We've got the special tasting setup for you where we've got our US 1 bourbon, which is aged in toasted and charred barrels. So all of our barrels that we use are going to be toasted before they're charred. And so it's got vanillas and caramels and nice, typical bourbon notes, but like a fruit pop and some smoke, This is our 2024 release of toasted bourbon. So we just released this. It's very exciting. It's the 10th anniversary of this release. They taste like different whiskeys, even though it was the same base whiskey going in. That second barrel that is toasted only adds a whole nother kind of dimension of flavor. So we're at our main production facility right now. It's typically closed to the public, but we only, get to kind of show off these barrels to special VIPs that get to come visit us. So these are the first bourbon and first rye that were filled here at the Shively distillery. There are thousands of compounds in whiskey. This is just a couple examples that we have up here on the screen to show you. Here on the left, we've got some compounds that we really want in our whiskey. So we've got vanillin, we've got 5-HMF, which is like a caramel flavor in whiskey. We've got lactones, which could be toasty or coconutty, and then we have xylose, which is a wood sugar. And so if you see on these different compounds here, we've got all these little, these are called functional groups. We've got all these little groups hanging off these O's and H's that are kind of hanging off the edges of these chemical compounds.
The experiment is to take an M&M and put it in your cup of distillate and put one M&M in your cup of water, okay? And then we're just gonna leave them there for a little bit of time. So this is just to visually help you understand the power of distillate versus water. You can see that the sugar is dissolved. You're down to the chocolate M&M, maybe just a little bit of the sugar coating left. Whereas on the distillate, you can still see the M if you were fortunate enough to have your M up on your M&M. It doesn't dissolve as easy. You lose a little bit of color, but it has not dissolved in the same way.
It's the single biggest cost to doing our business is having this low barrel entry proof of 103. So the big question is, why would we do that? There's two big reasons. The first that we'll go through is that we believe it results in a richer drinking experience for you all.
Give me 10 years.
10-year bourbon and 10-year rye. So you were on it. I heard you. He guessed it.
You just have to, because it's
10-year bourbon.
coming out of retirement.
Really, our 10-year expressions are often older than 10 years old. That number on the label is just a minimum.
The low entry proof allows us to bring forward that sweetness. It allows us to capture that and bring it through with that beautiful herbaceousness that we call Michter's rye.
So you guys are also family here at BBR.
Hey, let's go. Let's Hold it up. Show it to him.
All right.
Let's go. Hey!
You have a great sense of humor, so you'll love your name. You know, with Andrew being in the Hall of Fame and Joe being in the Hall of Fame, you're not there yet, but you're a
Future Hall of Fame. Let's go. That jacket's only good for 1 year, Dan.
This right here is why we do it. This is why we do it, because the friendships, the kindness, the joy that we bring doing these kinds of things, love it. So I hope you all have learned something from us. It's just a privilege and an honor to be with people who enjoy our whiskey and